everyone, this is Hakan with the Mangal Grill, and in this video I wanted to show you how I converted this used soda fridge that I bought for $100 into a dry aging cabinet. Now I have to admit that due to me being a little OCD, this project has been highly over-engineered, but at least now the fridge is working within the parameters that I was looking for. So let me show you how I did this. Before doing anything on this fridge, I wanted to put it on casters so I could move it around easily. I tilted the fridge backward and leaned it on the wall. After putting a car jack to support it from underneath, I removed the stationary feet and replaced them with 4-inch locking casters. In the end, the whole fridge was moving around without much effort. This whole fridge, when I first bought it, was really dirty, especially in the fan area and the evaporator area. I started with removing the fan cover and the evaporator cover. Then I gave the best cleaning I could give using bleach solution and disinfecting wipes. I also had to clean the inside periodically because of the ongoing work. It was a very time-consuming task, but it came out pretty nicely. Since the temperature and humidity controllers were going to be installed on the exterior side of the unit, I had to run the electrical wires for the equipment that were going to be connected to the controllers. So I had to drill holes and put grommets on them to protect the electrical and sensor cables. All grommet holes have been filled with electrician's putty to help restore the cabinet's insulation. I also installed an extension cord that will always deliver power to the devices that are not connected to a controller, like fans or anything else in the future. The fluorescent light was too old and I decided to replace it with an LED one. I then ran an independent wire for the LED and moved the switch control that was normally inside to a box that I made and installed on the exterior. This way I can turn the light on and off without opening the door, which would quickly change the temperature and humidity levels inside the fridge. I also ran the wires to control the UV lighting from that same exterior light control box, and more on that later. The internal temperature controller is just a dial where you can't adjust the temperature with precision. So to be able to adjust the temperature with precision, I installed an external Inkbird temperature controller and connected the compressor to it. So I bypassed the fridge's internal temperature control right inside the electrical box. This ensured that the cooling system is only controlled by the Inkbird controller. The controller is connected to my Wi-Fi and I can control the temperature anywhere in the world. I set the temperature to 34 degrees with a 3-degree variation, so when the temperature reaches 37 degrees, the compressor will kick in and cool it down to 34 degrees. And even after the compressor stops, the temperature still goes another degree down, so I am safe at 33 degrees. Before doing any work on humidity, I first monitored the humidity levels. To let you know, with the evaporator fan running 24/7, and once the compressor kicks in, the humidity levels would go down to 40%. And once the compressor stops, it would start to climb up, reach and exceed 90% levels, which was not good. I tried bringing the levels down by using a conventional dehumidifier after hooking it up to my Inkbird humidity controller. But this type of dehumidifier would not change the humidity levels at all. I tried a second one, it still didn't do anything. And that is because I had no idea that conventional compressor type dehumidifiers cannot dehumidify the air at temperatures below 60 degrees. So instead, I installed the desiccant dehumidifier, which can work at temperatures down to 33 degrees. Perfect, but the thing is, this kind would also blow warm air while dehumidifying the air, which is not optimal inside the fridge. Nevertheless, when I made the internal fan run only when the compressor is kicked in, the humidity levels were not high anymore. Seeing that the humidity levels were not high anymore, I removed the desiccant dehumidifier and installed a humidifier strong enough to quickly humidify the air if it gets too dry. I set the controller to 61%, because even when the humidifier shuts off, the relative humidity levels would still rise another 2%. However, after about a week or so, I noticed that the cooling time increased drastically and there was a little frost under the evaporator cover area. When I opened the evaporator cover, it looked like a snowstorm had happened in there. This happened because the evaporator fan was running only when the compressor had kicked in, and it would stop when the compressor had stopped, leading to excess moisture built around the evaporator area. I quickly defrosted the evaporator frost with my heat gun, created a lot of mess, but after that, the fridge started to cool down like it used to before. You may ask why I have two humidity controllers. A simple explanation is that the lower one controls the humidifier, the lower humidity levels, and it brings it up to 61% and just leaves the system like that. And then the top one controls the dehumidifier and kicks in only when humidity levels get to 81% and brings it down to 79%. That way, when the humidity levels are between those two numbers, none of these devices have to kick in, saving more energy and keeping the humidity levels more stable. But this time I had to run the evaporator fan 24/7 like before, and I also had to install the humidifier and the desiccant dehumidifier. The humidifier kicks in once the once the level go below 61%, and the dehumidifier kicks in if the humidity levels reach 81% and brings it down to 79% and stops there. I also wanted to see the temperature and the humidity states over a period of time. For example, if temperature or humidity changed drastically without my knowledge, like power loss or whatever, I wanted to know that. To solve this problem, I installed the Ager temperature and humidity logger. This device works off of a single AAA battery, and it stores temperature and humidity data at 1-minute intervals for 20 days. Data is transferred to my app via Bluetooth, and I get a realized report of how temperature and humidity levels behaved over time. The recommended airflow rate inside a dry aging cabinet is between 0.5 to 2 miles per hour. To get to these rates, I installed these two fans running at their slowest speed setting, and they give me about 1.5 to 1.7 miles per hour of airflow, which was perfect. Too little airflow will not be enough for dry aging the beef, may allow bacterial growth, and too much airflow will dry out the meat excessively. When you put a new batch of meat inside your dry aging fridge, there's always a chance that you may bring unwanted bacteria inside. Although not a requirement, I installed these UV bulbs inside the cabinet. Now, do they work? I can assure you 100% they work, but I have to warn you in bold and capital letters, do not get yourself exposed to this UV light. These bulbs light up like very dim lights, but the UV light that is emitted can actually have severe effects to your eyes and even your skin. I plugged the bulbs in while I was working, and I left them there, and I continued to work. The very next day, I was hospitalized because I couldn't open my eyes. Within 48 hours, my skin started to peel off, just like sunburn. I will certainly not have it on all the time, so I hooked it up to the external light control switch. I can turn it on and off from there, to the point I'm thinking of installing a motion sensor over here that will cut the power to the UV bulbs regardless if there's someone in the area. I wanted to be able to both hang the meat and also rest them. So I put this top shelf over here to rest the meat on them, and I have the hooks on swiveling clasps so I could hang the meat and rotate them if I wanted to see the other side of the meat. The shelf on the bottom here is not really to rest any meat on because it would block the airflow coming from the two fans, the humidifier and the dehumidifier. It is more to protect the equipment on the floor from any possible accidents. I hope I covered everything in this video. All the equipment that I used, all the parts that I used are in the video description. If you do have any questions or comments, please post them in the comments section. I will try to get back to you whenever I can. Lastly, do not forget to subscribe to my channel so you can be notified about the upcoming cooking videos. Bye.